Look, things change.
Any moment the
Yeah,
camera is
so
a computer.
better now
it's a
than
good
always.
idea.
Bonnie Bernstein, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So you've covered the Super Bowl, NCAA basketball tournament, you've hosted shows for ESPN. Now you're taking on a new role, not just as a host, but as an executive, VP of Content and Brand Development for CampusInsiders.com. Why did you want to do that extra step of also being an executive?
I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I don't know where it comes from. It's always sort of been deep within. Now I have this all-encompassing role, and it's just so cool to be able to touch so many different facets of a business, and I've really never had access to that before, so it's been very, very fulfilling.
What drew you to sports journalism in the first place?
My parents.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've always said you're
Pushed you into it?
They never
Stage parents?
They never, totally not stage parents. In fact, the complete antithesis of that. Both of my parents are diehard sports fans. They're from Brooklyn. We watch a ton of Mets games and a ton of Giants games and Jets games. And so that was my early exposure. And I loved it. And then I realized pretty early on that I enjoyed writing too. So when I was probably 11, 12, somewhere in that age range, I decided I wanted to write for Sports Illustrated. All my friends, when they grew up, they wanted to be doctors and firefighters and astronauts, and I'm like, I want to be a sports writer.
And while you're thinking about your career, you were in gymnastics throughout your childhood.
Got the
straight
scars to
through
prove
college.
it.
4 knee surgeries, you told me
Yes.
before we started the interview. What did that, being a college athlete, how did that prepare you for, do you think, not just being a sports journalist, but how did it prepare you for your career?
Well, a couple different things. And you, of course, don't realize it at the time, but when you go through 4 knee surgeries, the amount of intestinal fortitude you need to get back, especially when your surgeon's telling you you'll probably never do gymnastics again, I mean, that strength crosses over when you're a woman in a man's world. But to all of those people who have maintained all along that women shouldn't be talking about sports that they didn't participate in, what they don't understand is that when you have competed at a high level, there is something about the emotional side of you, the training, all of the dedication that it takes that transcends that particular sport. And so when I'm interviewing athletes, yeah, I'm talking to them about X's and O's, but I'm also talking to them about mindset. And that's something I understand pretty acutely. And the other fact of the matter is there are a lot of men in our business who didn't play sports either. So I'll throw that in there as an aside.